Now we're going to cheat. We don't have a glue gun, but we do have the old hot glue. I'm sure there's a special place in hell for this. All this smoke and nastiness. Now I'll get 100 emails, people saying, "That's really bad, what are you doing?" Okay, so now we've put our alternative cap values in. We just need to jumper a couple of things and we're almost done. Power supply is changed. Okay, the last step we want to talk about, we've changed all the other stuff. The last step we want to talk about is the feedback loop. Basically what happens is a wire leads from the hot side of the output jack, in this case the 4-ohm tap, to the circuit board at a certain point. And what that does is it provides what's called negative feedback injected into the circuit and controls the damping of the power amp or the output tube. The Fender Champs had it. This does not have it, but it does help give the amp some bottom end and keep the speaker from being too floppy. You could run the amp without the negative feedback loop, but I found it did help. And now the other thing is I'm using very little negative feedback. The original Fender value was 270K on the resistor, and I'm up above 1 meg, so there's hardly any actual feedback going, but just enough to keep the power amp from sounding completely sloppy. Okay, so what we've done is we've removed C3, we've stuck our wire through the positive end of C3, we've replaced JMP1 jumper with our feedback resistor, so the connection under the board goes top of the capacitor through the jumper and puts it to the top of the 1.5 K cathode resistor, which is the exact location the feedback goes in on a Tweed Champ. And then all that remains is for us to run our wire to our positive tip of our jack, and then we have negative feedback happening. Have it end up somewhere here so we can tie it off. We want to leave enough so that it's loose enough we can lift the board, and we want to put some hot glue somewhere here to make sure it is not going anywhere. This is your ghetto way of doing hot glue. Okay, so we've removed our hot glue on our 4-ohm tap. Got our hot glue over there happening. So we just need to curl this wire under here, pull it up, once again heat the work, trim off our excess. There's our new feedback loop in place. Again, run the wire near the chassis so it's not acting as a antenna throwing a lot of garbage around. And we can reheat our hot glue. So that should be pretty much it. We want to double check all our work. We want to go over every solder connection we've disturbed under the board, touch it with the soldering iron, make sure it's heated up, make sure these connectors on these special connectors, those connections are all heated up. And so what we've done to review is we've changed the input stopper resistor to get a little more gain here. We've changed the value of the coupling cap to a smaller value so it sings a little better. We've changed the value of the coupling cap going into the power amp so it sings a little better, less bottom end mud. Adjusted again the grid resistors in all cases. Left the gain the way it was, but we did remove a bypass cap and replace that with a feedback loop like a champ. Although unlike a champ, we're using 1.8 meg of feedback, so it's a lot less feedback, a little more growl and grind. And then we boosted up the primary filters of the power supply, left the secondary filters alone for the preamp on purpose, because if you build those up too big, you get that choked late 70s Marshall sound that's not as magical as the Plexi sound where these smaller filters run out of steam. Anyway, that's the gist of it. We're going to check our work and then fire her up.